Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Three Things About the Browns. I'm Stephanie Haney here with voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan. Jim, I wish we were meeting under better circumstances today.
I certainly thought we would be. I really did. This is shocking.
It really is, and what we've seen in the conversation, let's get right to those rapid fire questions. A lot of people saying same old Browns after we saw the drop passes, that false start at the worst possible time. But here's my thought on this. We have a lot of injuries. If not for those injuries, if not for Nick Chubb, if not for Jarvis Landry, if not for Baker Mayfield, Conklin, would we win this game?
Yeah, I mean, certainly that would have helped. When Conklin went out, that's a big adjustment, especially when you have to make it that early in the game. They were so excited about having him back. The Nick Chubb factor, I have to tell you, Stephanie, I give a lot of credit to the Steelers. They came into the game and they said, what are we going to do? We're going to deny them the running game. We're not going to let Nick Chubb or Dearness Johnson run up and down the field like Dearness Johnson did against the Broncos a couple of Thursday nights ago. So they outnumbered the Browns up at the line of scrimmage all afternoon long. The Browns were running into like 8 guys with 5 blockers, and the math tells you that wasn't going to work. As for the other guys, it's just an uncharacteristic day for Jarvis Landry to drop balls and to fumble a ball away, for Higgins to drop a ball. He's been the go-to guy for Baker Mayfield. It was a bad day for all of them to have a bad day.
It really was, man. And the camera cut away to Jarvis Landry after those mistakes. You could tell he felt it for sure. Now, let's look at the playoff picture moving forward. We're 4-4 now on the season. I take a look at last year. Our final regular season record was 11-5. So you see the numbers. I know our chances of the playoffs are a lot less now, but realistically, not thinking about the numbers, what do you think?
I think in the next 2 weeks, we're going to really know what we have here because something has to change. I think the Browns had a path that they knew how they had to play to win games last year. And if you think about it, the Browns had, kind of a porous defense last year, but they had a prolific offense. They went up and down the field. They would score in the 40s. Now, you might score 41, but they would score 43, and that's fine. You take the win. They have to get back to that, but I don't know the way they're constructed right now because of all those injuries that you alluded to, if they're able to do that. But this game against Cincinnati and the following week against New England, those are 2 critical games. If they don't get them, then I think you have your answer. We can be off in January and not worry about the playoffs. If they get those games and suddenly there's some kind of turnaround to that offense, okay, then you're back in it.
We've got that extra home game this year, so here's hoping at the end of the season we are having a different conversation. One more question for you before we go today, Jim. Now, we're taking a look at the future. The very near future is the NFL trade deadline. That's tomorrow. Do we expect to see any move from the Browns?
I'm not hearing that they really want to get involved in that. I know a lot of people are wondering about Odell Beckham Jr., and I think Odell Beckham Jr. is wondering about Odell Beckham Jr. In a perfect world, it might be the time for him to leave here. It just doesn't seem to work out for whatever reason. Lack of chemistry, maybe his slowness in coming back from that injury. But the fact of the matter is, he just hasn't been the guy that they traded to get from the New York Giants. But I don't think that there's a lot of trade value, a market for him right now. He makes close to $16 million a year. That's a big problem at this point. And other teams see what we are experiencing. Something's going on there. As for everything else, I don't see them doing that right now. I think that they feel that they can continue to tap into their own roster and the depth on that roster to get through this period. The thing that's really hurting them, Stephanie, they do not get their bye week until the 13th week. They really needed an early bye week considering their health and the status of that roster right now.
Man, it would have been nice to have that sooner. We had the 10 days after the Thursday night going into it, but hey, you get the cards that you're dealt, right?
That's right.
All right, well, Jim, thank you for your time, and we will see you back here next week when the Browns take on the Cincinnati Bengals on the road on Sunday.